I believe that the fires we're cast upon are the flames we shall become. I believe in a common calling where our temples pray as one. I believe in the word of wonder and a kingdom for the saved.
Larry Pollock here with new IFBB Pro overall winner and super heavyweight winner at the NPC USA's. And how does it feel now? I know it took a minute to sink in. I know you, when you got that pro card, you were pretty emotional right there.
Yes. It feels great. Oh, first of all, thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be on your podcast. I watched it before, and it's a pleasure meeting you this past weekend. And it's settling in, and it feels really good. I'm still getting a lot of congratulations, and a lot of people are sending me a lot of kind words, and I really appreciate that. Haven't really got any mean messages yet, so I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I feel great, and I'm more motivated more than ever. I ate a little bit of food, so my face is a little puffy. I'm up about 20 pounds, so
yeah,
I had to get back on the diet come Monday. I ate too. My body reacts really bad to sweet, so had to clean it up. So I'm back on the diet now. But yeah, I'm very happy, and it's starting to settle in.
So for people who don't know you, let's start from the beginning. I know you're in the military now, but how long?
Not in the military. Not in the
military.
military.
I thought you were.
No, I work on military sites. Like I do government. I'm a safety officer.
Oh, okay.
And I enforce my company's work policies on construction job sites, and it's primarily.
So you're like a military contractor.
Yes, pretty much. Yes.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend did the same thing.
Nice.
She fixed airplanes, but she didn't directly work for the military. She was contracted by the military.
It's good money, and aviation work it can pay really good.
Yeah, now she's a supervisor. So
nice. Okay.
So let's start from the beginning. You're how old right now?
I'm 34. I turned 34 this past March.
And you competed at what weight?
Weighed in at this year's USA's at 235.
And what is your normal off-season weight?
This past all season, I got quite heavy. I peaked out at 285, and then my weight stabilized around about 275. And I'm probably going to hit 300 this next off season.
So you dropped about 40 pounds for the USA's?
Yes.
And how long have you been training? When did you start? How old were you?
I was about 12 years old. I had an older brother that was really big into bodybuilding, so I knew who flexed. Sean Ray, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was my idol growing up, by the way. Dorian Yates. I knew Lee Haney, all that. That's all we had in the magazines all around the house. So I've always been exposed to bodybuilding at a young age. So I started at 12. First weight bench I had when I was 12 years old. So yes, it's been a while.
And how old are you now?
34. So a couple decades.
That's interesting because I actually competed with Sean Ray when we were teenagers.
Nice.
A little bit before you, but you're about 20 years, a little more, 25 years younger than me, and that you still know the guys from the 80s. Most people your age, they don't know who those people are.
I'm a scholar of the sport. I'm obsessed with bodybuilding. I know all the Mr. Olympias. I can go all the way back in the day.
Now there is something about starting young. I started 13. And
wow.
I did my first show when I was 16. And I really think that, the teenage divisions used to be really deep back in the day because a lot of kids started young, like 12, 13 years old. Yes. And but by the time we were, competing as teenagers, we had several years of training under our belt. And I think it makes a huge difference. We used to have that old thing say, it stunts your growth plates and all this crap. But
heard that.
I don't know if that's any truth to that or not. But regardless, I remember when I was coming up as a teenager, there was a lot of really good teenage competitors because we started young. And you don't see that now so much.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. I just think it's because the way the world is now is like, even when you go to the gym, I was talking to the gym owner a couple weeks ago, you don't see the mass monsters or the really big freaks. Like when I was growing up, I'm 25 years younger than you, but I still remember going to the gym when I was a teenager and seeing bigger guys. Now everybody's complete. It's just this is not the same. Everybody's much smaller. It's just not the same, and nobody wants to be big anymore. I feel like it's just different times.
Well, they did a study, and the testosterone level in men aged 20 to 40 is that of a 70-year-old back in the 1970s.
I think that's the food quality, and
there's a bunch of factors that contribute: the food, the chemicals in the food,
yes,
different factors, but also kids today, they don't exercise. I mean, when we were young, we were playing sports. We had to do PE. It was mandatory. We were active. My father put me in karate when I was like 4.
Different times, like the 90s kids, like my generation, we're the last generation without cell phones, and we were forced to play outside and stuff too. But the 2000s and beyond that, I think the kids, the technology and stuff, things shifted, changed completely. And, kids don't play outside as much. They're on their computers, the iPads, playing games. It's different.
And I really do believe that when you start young and you train as a teenager, you develop in a way that people that start later just don't get that, because you're in your growth stage already. Your body's producing all those hormones and everything.
Yes.
And you're in the prime of growing. And then if you start training right, then you're going to grow even more. I remember I started when I was 13, and by the time I was 16, I did my first show, and I was already like 190 pounds.
Goodness.
Lean.
You're a big boy.
Yeah, but I started at like 130 pounds at 13.
Goodness.
So in 3 years, I put on, 60 pounds?
Your testosterone levels were firing at the highest, at the peak, That's the perfect age.
And that was with no steroids.
Yes.
That's before I had steroids. That was just training my ass off in the gym. So there's something about when you're a teenager and you start young, your body's primed to grow. And I think if you miss those years and the guys that start later, it's harder.
I agree.
Because I've seen it across the board. I mean, all the top pros back in the day that were really big, they all started like 12, 13, something like that.
Yes.
A handful of them started later in life, but most people started young.
Yes.
And I think that's where you get your foundation, in training and everything else. By the time I was 16, I started my first gym training around pros. Like I walked right into the gym when Lee Haney was training there, Gasperi was training there, Bertil Fox was there. Everybody was in there because it was Weider. I lived down the street from where the Weider headquarters was, and there was a gym called Don Peters, later became Gold's, and all the pros were under contract with Weider, and they were all training there.
Wow, that had to be very motivating.
And later we went over to World Gym, and everybody was training there. So every time I walked in the gym, there was 20 pros training around me. So even as a kid, I was like, this is like what you're supposed to do. And everybody was training heavy and hard. You don't see that anywhere anymore.
No, people don't even do back squats anymore. So no, so that's crazy. Like that type of atmosphere, I've never been exposed to that type of atmosphere. I met my first IFBB Pro when I was 21 years old. I didn't even know what it was. I knew what a pro bodybuilder was, but I didn't know the acronym of IFBB Pro. I didn't know what that was. And he was Van Anthony. He's one of the best. He's one of the, he's a pretty good damn pro in North Carolina. That's where I'm originally from. And he flexed his bicep, and I was like, is that real, So that was my first time ever being exposed to a legit IFBB Pro.
Yeah, I watched Tom Platt's guest post 1 week before that 81 Olympia at a little contest in Santa Monica. I was 13, and he gave me his upper body training manual and his lower body training manual.
How was that lower body training manual?
And it was mainly about squats. Do a lot of squats.
Let's do 405 for 50 reps. I don't know what it's like, but I know it was probably pretty crazy knowing Tom Platt's.
Oh, yeah. We did the Tom Platt's 10-minute squat workout. You heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I don't know the details.
So you take 225 and you just squat for 10 minutes. That was the whole workout. Not by reps, but by time. You just squat for 10 minutes straight. And by that time, that was the workout. Done.
Yeah, by the time 20 or 30 reps come, you're going to be dying.
Yeah, I actually was able to do it. I built up to it. I mean, we were crazy back then, but you do one heavy leg workout during the week, and then the other leg workout would just be this one set of squats for 10 minutes.
I'm sure the separation in the quads and stuff from that extensive, like all those reps, were just it would slice your legs to pieces. I'm sure.
Not only that, the endurance you built from just doing that.
Squats is cardio when you start getting past 10 reps. It gets rough.
Oh, yeah.
I do a lot of squats. You know, I do sets of like going into prep. I do like 5 sets, and sometimes on my last set I do 315 for 20, sometimes 30 reps. So I'm used to it, but I don't do a 10 minutes.
Yeah, we did 10 minutes. I have no idea how many reps I did, but I remember they had a little weightlifting competition at John Lloyd's gym. This is when I was a little bit older, and it was just different exercises. It was by body weight for reps. So I had to take my body weight and do reps. And I think at the time I was weighing like 235.
Yes.
And I got like 107 reps.
That's insane.
And I got beat by a track star kid that weighed like 140 pounds. And I think he did the 140 pounds for like 150 reps.
That's absurd still. That's still crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah. I was lifting 100 pounds more than him, plus my body weight.
Yes. That's some endurance. That's you're going against a track athlete. His fast twitch muscles are a little bit different. He's going to be a little bit more explosive, but still, 107 reps is pretty ridiculous.
Well, we did crazy stuff back then because you know why? Because we didn't know we weren't supposed to.
I think that's the best way. I still do crazy stuff in the gym sometimes. Like some of the days if I'm feeling it, like I lifted 405 for 20 reps deadlifts one day, and I keep going until I can't do it anymore. Like you had those days you just feel like you want to go to the max, and then you hear the thing is like, oh, you're going to hurt yourself. You don't need to be doing that. Or even like a couple weeks out from the show, they're telling me not to squat, and I still like, fuck, I'm fucking squatting. I'm not going to stop squatting. This is what built my foundation. I'm going to squat. My food's not cut. I still feel strong. I'm going to still keep the weight relative, you know? So that's Dave relays that to me constantly. He's like, don't change up anything. Keep it the same.
And Dave's your coach, I know. And Dave's big on free weight training. And I know you're big on free weight training as well.
Yes. All I do is free weight. And I use machines towards the end of my workout for refinement, but I always start my workouts with I do a traditional heavy compound movement. Like if it's back day, it's either going to be, I'll start out pull-ups, but my secondary movement is going to be deadlifts or barbell row. And bench press, I start off incline bench. I do military press or heavy dumbbell press. I always start my leg day with hip flexors and some leg extensions, but I start out my first real exercise is back squats. And I get that out of the way once my knees are warm. And once I get past that, I do 4 movements for my quads. And I do 2 hamstring movements for my first leg day. My secondary leg day is more accessory work, but it's glute based and hamstring based. But I do heavy straight leg deadlifts and stuff. But yeah, I like traditionally, heavier compound movements. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy lifting heavy weights.
Well, that's what puts on the math and the thickness.
Yes. 100 agree. Like 2 sets, really heavy. Then I do a sequence afterwards that, I like Dorian Yates style, Ronnie Coleman, all those guys always inspired me the way they train, that really heavy weight. And I just think that heavy weight's going to put the tissue on you. I just don't see how, doing a lot of reps with a moderate weight is going to cause that muscle to change, It's going to, you can't shock the muscle enough for it to it. You can, but it's going to take a lot longer. That's how I feel about it.
Well, what it does is it puts blood into the muscle, which is just like volumizing it by giving you a pump, but it's not going to build actual fibers. I don't think. Yes. I actually start like my first set of an exercise will be something of 20 reps with a light weight. Yes. But I'm just doing this to like get blood in there and get everything good and warm so that when I lift the heavy weights, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting to grow from that.
That's what I do. I do my feeder sets, get warm, and then like I always tell my workout partner, just get warm. We got our heavy set because our heavy set for me is 6 to 8 reps, and I want to go 90% of my max on that. And then after that, after I'm really exhausted on that heavy set, I might do a sequence. I might do a cluster, but it's still going to be like heavy, and that's why I like having my spotter there. And it might be a little reckless to some people, but it works. I'm not going to do something I can't do. I know I can do it, but it's going to be fucking hard. Excuse my language, but yeah.
Well, I mean, your physique proves itself. You were the thickest guy in the whole contest.
Thank you.
I mean, in the whole contest, you won the overall, and you were the thickest guy there, and from top to bottom. And actually, I want to show some people some pictures. I pulled up your Instagram, so let me.
I know a few of the competitors told me I don't look as big on Instagram. I'm bigger in real life. I don't really display well on Instagram, I guess. I'm not good at taking pictures. I'm getting new to the whole social media thing. I'm posting more now.
Let's see. Here we go. So here you are. This is you winning the. Can you see that?
Yes.
Let me see.
It's a little blurry, but it's cleared up.
So that's your front double biceps. And whoops. Let me do that. Where did it go?
I can still see it on my end.
No, I see it there. I'm just looking for the tab. It disappeared for a second. I'll pull it back up. Let me try this.
I should have probably. I need to buy the package, and so I can get some clearer pictures of when I won my pro card, because I know a lot of those pictures are taken off a cell phone. I was being cheap. My family was just taking pictures, and some of the people in the audience took some pictures and sent them to me.
Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I got it back up. So that's your front double. And this is I saw some better pictures. Where is it?
If you maybe if you scroll down, there's a video like when I'm like after a refeed. If you keep going down a little bit more, a little bit. The one right there on the left is pretty good. All those are.
This one right here.
That's kind of a reel, but scroll down a little bit more. A little bit more. Keep going. It's almost there. Where's that video at? Oh yeah, go up. I'm sorry. Go up. One more. Go up. Go right there. That video above that one right there to your far right there. I'm hitting the most muscular.
Got it.
Yeah, that was after I had a refeed, and I was like at 243 or so, and I was just full as a house.
Yeah, look at the thickness you have on you.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, the thickness is all the way through. I mean, and every angle, your back, legs, everything.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Larry.
You pretty much have no weaknesses.
That can be a strength and a weakness, though. Like, somebody got a freaky body part that can beat me. That's been the problem in the past 5 years. Somebody shows up with freaky arms and they're just as big as me. They tend to overtake me. But I had some holes in my gaps the previous years. This year right here, I finally, being a super, I was able to eat up finally. Not trying to make weight, because last year I placed third and I placed second at North Americans. And I couldn't make my weight class, and we had to damn near starve myself to try to get underneath that 225 mark.
So, I mean, that's pretty impressive right there. And like you said, it was mostly free weight training.
Yes.
I know I can tell you, like, the first probably, I don't know, 30 years of my training, it was almost all free weights.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's where I built the foundation. What?
Now, Larry, did you ever have any injuries from training like that, or like, are you pretty injury free?
So when I was young, I tore my cruciate tendons in my knees, not lifting weights, but bouncing in nightclubs, fighting.
Go figure.
And I remember when I tore one of them, I tore one of them, and the doctor told me, I went to the ER right afterwards.
Yes.
And he said, you will walk, but you'll never run and you'll never lift weights again. And there was no physical therapy or anything back then. They just stuck me in a cast. And I was in a cast for, like, I don't know, 6 weeks or something. My leg atrophied, obviously, from being in the cast. But as soon as I got that cast off, I went back to the gym and my leg was stuck, like at a kind of like a 45-degree angle, because my knee was swollen. And I just got on they have those Kaiser air machines. And there was a leg extension and leg curl. Remember the air machines? You could pump the air to make pressure.
That's before my time.
They were sort of like Nautilus, but they were air pressure machines. They still have them. They're not.
I've never used
not
one
as
of
popular,
those. I would love to try that.
The thing is, they're pretty cool because you can increase the tension or decrease it through the rep with just a button. Like while you're in the middle of the rep, if you get stuck, you could just push the button. It would decrease the tension. So you could give yourself like forced reps or negatives.
That's so cool.
Just by pushing a button up or down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They still have them. I don't know why they are not as popular anymore.
I'm going to talk to my gym.
But anyways, I got on those things and I did leg extensions and leg curls with like very partial movement. And then I was squatting with my body weight, just trying to bend my knee. And within 6 months later, I was back squatting over 500 pounds.
That's crazy. I'm sure that was
just rehabbed myself.
First, though. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my leg was stuck. But I rehabbed that. Let's see, what else have I done? One of the most serious injuries I had, I was leg pressing like 1,700 pounds, and I tore both my soleus. It was crazy. In the middle of I was like on the 7th rep, my right one blew out, and then the platform came down and my left one blew out. And I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I had compartment syndrome. Luckily, they didn't end up cutting the fascia because I would have been screwed. But then I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair at first because I couldn't put weight on my legs. And then I was in these boots. And that took a year for me to rehab that. But I did. And my calves were 21 inches at the time. And they went down and they changed shape a little bit from the tears. But after about a year, they were fully functional and I was able to do seated calf raises with 5 plates. And they got back up to size, but the shape really wasn't there. I didn't have that cut in the calf like I did before. And it took about 3 or 4 years, but it came back. I just kept training on them.
Wow.
So now I'm like 50, almost 59, but they're still like about 19 inches. I tore my tricep tendon, and I did that. Well, I think I started it. I did heavy skull crushers for years and years and years. So my tricep tendon in my left elbow was inflamed. And then I got in a fight trying to collect some money from somebody who owed money. And I hit my elbow on the cement. You know, the guy tried to stab me with a knife, and I rolled and I hit my elbow on the cement and I tore my tricep tendon.
Goodness.
So that one sucked. I've done my SI joint. I did something deadlifting, and it's kind of an irritating injury that just like my lower back will get tight, but I've figured out how to work around it and pretty much can do everything but heavy deadlifts without killer pain.
Yes.
Before that, I was a really heavy deadlifter all the way till just a few years ago.
Wow.
But now if I do heavy deadlifts, my SI joint flares up and my back is like a rock.
Yes.
So, yeah, I've had some injuries, but we're talking 40 plus years of training.
Yes.
And I've never backed off with a heavy weight. I'm still squatting 600 for reps on the Roger squat.
That's awesome.
And the only reason I started Roger squat probably like 3 years ago. Oh, and before that, it was all barbell squats. But I got the Roger squat, and I use it just because it's like I can go heavy, but I don't feel anything in my lower back or my knees.
Okay.
That's why I like it. But I did barbell squats from the time I was 13 years old until, like I said, probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
I did tear my rotator cuff. And I did that bench. Yeah, I did a bench pressing. Somebody gave me a bad handoff.
Oh shoot. Was it flat bench or incline?
That took a full flat.
Okay.
Flat.
Okay.
At the time, I was doing a reverse grip bench, and the guy that was spotting me, he lifted it off, but he gave me a bad handoff. Instead of bringing it all the way out, he just let it go over my face. And I held the weight, but then I did a slight tear in my rotator cuff. And I kept training on it for a couple years, and finally it just got to the point where I couldn't lift a 10-pound double over my head. And I went and saw the surgeon, and they did an MRI, and I had a hole in my rotator cuff the size of a silver dollar. But they went and sewed it back up, and that took about a year to rehab. But now it works, and I have no pain in it.
That's good.
So, yeah, I've had some things over the years. Those were the main things, I think.
Okay.
But I did a lot of powerlifting too. So I think some things came from the powerlifting training. But I mean, considering that I've been training for 40 years, I'll tell you one thing. I do have these injuries, but I know like all the other guys my age, they've had like shoulder replacements, hip replacements, knee replacements. I have had no replacements, at least. And I'm still training heavy. So somehow I managed to work around all that.
Definitely keep training like that, because if you stop, that's probably when your body's going to start really falling apart, you know?
You know, honestly, like my knees, when I train, they don't hurt. If I don't train, like for any period of time, they start, crackling and doing weird stuff.
Crazy how that is.
So, there's these compression things that you put on your knees. It was, who's that powerlifter? Old powerlifter developed these things. They're these rubber things, and it pushes the blood out of your knees. They're like called floss bands. And I asked him, I said, he's one of the older guys that had like a world record powerlifting in total back in the day. But I asked him, I said, when I wrap my knees during heavy squats and stuff, I feel like it's having the same effect. And he said, yeah, it does. Okay. So actually, I could go into a leg workout with my knees a little bit sore. And after training heavy squats and heavy leg presses with a knee wraps on, my knees don't hurt after that. They actually get better. As crazy as it sounds, it actually feels better after I do that.
Okay.
And I have once in a while my left knee's a little achy, but not too bad. But it doesn't stop me from doing anything.
Yes. Okay.
But those heavy free weight compounds, that's what builds the size. And interestingly, I talked to all of the class winners at the USA's, and everybody was training heavy.
Nice.
You know,
that guy, Chris,
there's all this
back is ridiculous. The
Chris Massaro?
Yeah, his back is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he beat me in my. I look at those back shots. I'm like, damn, it's close. Like that dude's back is ridiculous.
He's impressive.
Yes. Hard as
and
he
was a super heavyweight. He was 237 2 weeks before the show, and his coach and him decided to drop down to heavyweight.
You think that affecting him? Like, that's a lot. That's hard. That's gonna be hard to fill out. Because Dave had a hard time filling me out.
Well, on the pictures that I saw on his Instagram, when he was 237, he would look just as hard at 237.
That's that man's genetics. He posted a picture like an hour ago. He's so conditioned. I'm like, it's ridiculous.
Well, he told me he's going to go. He's doing the Tampa Pro this week.
Good for him. I'm excited.
And he is going to go back up in weight for this Tampa Pro.
He's going to have to. It's a deep lineup. It's 22 guys. I was just watching, the Dennis for Menace podcast, and they're going through the lineup now. It's deep.
Yeah, we just went over that on the podcast right before this, and there's really good guys in there. And I'm really interested to see how Chris Massaro at his first pro show looks standing next to these guys.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. I wish I could have done it. It would have been really fun. So next year for me.
Yeah, well, next year.
I'm aiming for the Cal Pro.
You started training at 12.
Yes.
And when? You said the Cal Pro?
Yeah, the Cal Pro. That's the show I'm going to aim for next year. I think that's at the May or so.
And
sorry about that.
Did you choose that for a particular reason?
I think Cal and the Legion is really close. I just want to, it's close for me because I'm in Oahu, and it'd be just convenient for me. But I still would like to do the New York Pro. Pittsburgh might be too much of a stretch right now. I don't think I have enough tissue to stand next to the big boys. But, I'm going to get my weight up. I'm going to try to get on stage around about 240. I know weight is relative in this sport. I just need a little bit more tissue and refine my conditioning. And so I can stand next to the guys and be competitive. That's the only reason why, I'm going to take some time off and grow a little bit, because I have never truly had a full off season to really focus, because I've been hitting show after show after show and growing in between shows. And last year I had 5 months off or so, and I put on almost 15 pounds of muscle. So I'm curious to see what I can do now if I actually take it serious.
Well, you're only 5'7".
Yes.
And I mean, if you compete at 240, 245, I mean, size wise, you're comparable to the guys competing as far as mass.
That's the plan.
I think Derek Lunsford competes at like 230.
That's a big 230.
Yeah, I mean, it's an illusion.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's all, he's got that small waist and everything. So that 230 is a lot on his frame. But I think he's only like 5'5".
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I think him and Hottie are about the same height, and I think they're both between 230 and 240.
That's-
You're a hair taller than them.
Okay. Yeah, I probably shouldn't worry about the weight.
You're
then,
actually a
because
couple
if I-
inches taller than them.
Okay. Damn, that's crazy. Some big boys.
I mean, yeah, these guys are, like Nick Walker, he's 300 pounds in the offseason, but he's 265 on stage, but he's way bigger than everybody else and proportionally.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know why I think I'm carrying all my weight in my legs because, I don't understand why I weigh so much, because I look at these guys and I feel like they're way bigger than me. Maybe it's just in my head, but Nick Walker's a freak. He's a mass monster, an absolute freak. But I'm curious to see how Nick Walker and Hadi look in real life because I've never seen those guys, in real life. I just want to see how wide, I know Derek and
I've
Hadi
seen
are-
Nick. I've seen Nick off season looking absolutely ginormous,
Okay.
but I've also seen him at the Olympia when he's dieted down. And in a tracksuit, he looks big, but he doesn't look that big till he comes out of the clothes. I mean, when you're just standing there next to him, he doesn't look that big when he's dieted down. You can see he has muscle under the clothes, but it's not like, oh my God, look how huge he is. Not like the off season. So when people are lean, it's all an illusion.
Very true.
Like Derek, honestly, I stood next to him many times at the Arnold last year, right after he won. And when he's fully clothed, he looks like a muscular guy, but he doesn't look huge at all. You'd be surprised. But then the clothes come off, and then you're like, oh. So size-wise, I think another 5 or 10 pounds of muscle, you're right there with those other guys.
That's the goal.
It's just when you gotta bring in that conditioning. And we talked before a little about your prep, and let's talk about. Well, first of all, when did you start competing?
I started competing when I was 21, and I won my first couple of shows at 21. That was back in 2012, I believe.
And so you've been competing about 9 years?
Little over 9 years. It's a little bit over a decade. So from 2012 to now, I would say about 14 years, or 13 years or so. And I've done.
And how many national level shows have you done?
I did the 2017
7 national qualifier. Seven pro qualifiers.
I think so. See, I did nationals 2017. I placed 15th place. That was my first one. And then I don't count the Amateur Olympia Japan, and I don't count the Arnold Classic. I placed 5th at the Amateur Olympia Japan, and I placed 2nd at the Amateur Olympia Arnold Classic. And then 2021, I did USA's in the heavyweight class. I placed 4th. 2022, I placed 5th place at the NPC Nationals. 2023, I placed 3rd at that NPC Nationals. 2024, I placed 3rd at USA's. And 2024, I also placed 2nd at North Americans. And this year, I won the overall at USA's. So I've only been outside of the top 5 once at the national level, I guess.
But you took several shots at the pro card before you actually got it.
Yes.
And that's what I
sorry.
I noticed that pretty much across the board with all the winners. They've been training for at least a decade minimum, and they've been competing for about a decade. And they all did several national pro qualifiers before they actually got the pro card. Everybody from the middleweight up.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, every one of them did several pro qualifiers before they actually got it. So there's levels to this stuff.
Yes.
And people, I think a lot of guys don't realize that at the national level, it's tough.
Yeah.
People keep saying, oh, there's so many people turning pro and it's so easy now. It may be in these other divisions because you have so many other divisions, but in bodybuilding, it's not easy.
Oh,
I would say,
I literally been
I
moving
mean,
up one place a year. You know, it's been like the same top 5 guys, and we like everybody from that 2021 class that at USA's. Jordan Hutchison won the overall at USA's. Eric won the overall at North Americans. Walter won the overall at Nationals 2022. I won the overall at this USA's, and Sid's about to do North American. So everybody in that top 5 are overall winners, except for Sid, and he's about to do North Americans. So it's the same guys, and you got to wait till that guy gets out before you can move up. Sometimes it's not easy. It's not.
no, and there's levels to this, and I think a lot of people don't realize. I had 2 competitors going into this, and you know they won they're new at competing, and they won their local show to qualify for the nationals for the USA's, but they went in there with big heads, thinking they're gonna win or something.
I've been there.
And I kept telling them, I'm like, it's not going to be like that. And they learned because the classes were deep.
Yeah, that light heavyweight class, I was looking at it earlier. I'm like, that top 5 was pilled. Those guys look really good. It was competitive.
Yep.
So yeah, it can be tough. It's hit or miss some years, but I think this year this USA's was much tougher than last year's USA's because I saw some of the places shift quite drastically in certain divisions. Certain guys placed higher last year than what they placed this year, so that just shows that the level of difficulty increased, and it was a lot more competitors in certain divisions. So that was really good to see that bodybuilding's,
Well, USA's last year, I think in the heavyweight or the super heavyweight last year, there was like 5 guys.
It wasn't that. Yeah.
Last year, I'm talking about.
Like that. Yeah, it was like that last year.
Yeah, but this year you had 20 plus competitors in I think there was 27 in the middleweight. There was 27 in the light heavyweight. There was 25 plus in the heavyweight.
Yes.
And there was at least a dozen in the supers.
Yes.
So that's a lot of competitors. And we're not even talking about the little division.
Yeah, and it's crazy backstage, Larry. They're like making us line up. And I'm like looking at my buddy Trenton backstage. They're like, get oiled up super heavyweights. I'm like, they're still no light heavyweights. I'm laying down. Like, I'm not gonna wait for it, like, because we did 2023 nationals and it was like 37 heavyweights. And they did the same thing. We stood for over an hour. And I'm like, I'm not standing up for over an hour when you got all these guys. It takes a long time, So yeah.
I will say though, at this show, this was the best run national level show I've ever been to, as far as starting on time and finishing quickly. I mean, they started right at 9:00 Saturday morning, and they finished by noon. And then they started back up at 4.
Yes. Yeah, I walked outside and the sun was still out, Larry. I was like, what? It was still sunny outside. And it was amazing because we were able to go out to eat and enjoy ourselves. It wasn't like Miami Nationals in 2017. It was like 1:00 in the morning when we got let out. And it used to be a 2-day show. So that was a mess.
Yeah, I had a guy at 2022 Nationals. We went on at 4:00 at the night show, and he didn't go on stage till midnight. It was just crazy.
Long day.
So I got to give it to Tamer. They did a really good job of like getting things going and moving things fast.
Yes, I prefer it like that too.
Now, one thing I did notice, they in the prejudging, they limited the posing routine to 30 seconds.
Yes.
So
was it normally 60 seconds? I can't remember.
They got to it and got through it. Yeah, it's usually 60 seconds. So they limited it to 30 seconds. So that cut down on some time right there.
Definitely.
But I honestly think in the comparisons where the judges are making most of the decisions anyways.
Yes.
So I don't think anybody missed anything by doing that in the prejudging.
They judged it a little differently. It was the first time they pulled since I've been at the national, they pulled us to the side and they brought out a top 2, and they brought out the top 5. Typically, they make us walk backstage and then they bring us back out. They kept us on stage this time. I thought that was pretty cool. I never had a top 2 call out like I had in my class. I thought that was really cool. Felt like a pro. So,
I think your class is the only one that did that.
Okay.
Well, I think they just did that because the top 2 were, they wanted to see you guys.
Yes.
They didn't do that in the other classes.
The light heavyweight class, I noticed that they pulled everybody to the side for a little bit. It was like the top 5, and then they brought them back out to rejudge them. I don't know what's going on. I was just watching from the side, and I went to lay back down.
Oh, you know what happened was there was a guy that by accident he was I think he was a light heavy, but they put him in the heavyweight in the prejudging. And then they had to rejudge it in the night because they realized they made a mistake. So they had to rejudge the light heavies. They had to rejudge the light heavies again because he wasn't in it in the morning.
That's stressful. If you were dead center and
they said it was their mistake somehow.
Damn.
Yeah, somehow they put him in the wrong division in the morning, so they rejudged that part.
At least they rejudged it.
I mean, overall, the show went smooth.
Yes, I agree.
But it was even in your class, you had some. Yeah, your class was very competitive as well. I want to say there was like 4 or 5 guys up there that were really good.
Yes.
You had Body and the guy that got second to you. I mean, they were good.
That was a big boy. I was looking at pictures. That's a big man. And the guy that placed 6th place, he placed 2nd last year. He's really good too. And I just don't know what happened because I was looking at him backstage and he looked freaky as hell to me. He's from here and like he's a freak. And I just think he was. I don't know what happened this year, but maybe he just didn't carb up right. But he's a great competitor, and his name's Alo. He's damn good. I just hope he keeps going.
So we've covered a little bit about your training. Now I know you told me a little bit about your nutrition before, but what does your off-season nutrition look like?
It's pretty much it's like my pre-contest diet, but the only difference is I don't do the rotating. I do keto a lot when I'm getting ready for shows. Like I do like protein and I do fats every 4th day, and then the other days it's no fats and it's just protein and carbs and veggies. And only difference is my all season I have protein, fats, carbs, and veggies with all my meals, and I can get away with having a little bit of junk, but typically I have so much food that I don't want to eat junk food, hence why I got so heavy last year. So it consists of 7 meals, 3 shakes. I have pre and post workout shakes with Dave Palumbo's Carbolize, and I use his aminos, and I use his Isolize and everything. And it's just it helps with the food. The main food is a lot of food, like 4 of the meals. It's a lot of hot avocados, whole eggs, typical Dave Palumbo diet, and there's a lot of eating. And luckily I don't have to eat McDonald's in all season, but yeah, it's 7 meals, and it's just high fats, moderate carbs, and I eat about 8 ounces of protein per meal. So yeah, that's basically what it is.
And how many calories do you think you're taking in a day in the off season?
I didn't break it down last year. I think it's around about 5,000 calories or so, 5,000 or 6,000. Because certain days I replace my last meal with like a whole pizza or so every so often if I feel like eating it. So yeah, it gets up there. So I got to really watch that this year. I can't be eating whole pizzas every other day because I got so heavy last year that I had to take blood pressure medication, and Dave thought something was wrong with my body because I got 280, and I still had abs, but it wasn't pretty. I was bloated. So around 5,000 or 6,000 calories.
And then pre-contest, where you at calorie wise?
I don't know the actual calories, but I know my carb intake's around 160 a day. fats are moderate, but on my carb days, I have 160 carbs. Fats, I don't know. I have my plan, and it's kind of, I should break it down so I know, but it's there. I go off of that. I check in. It's simple. Dave does the work, or he calls me and tells me what he wants me to eat for that week, and I do that, and I check in every third day, and that's how it is. I should break it down, but I haven't. So
There's a food program that I have, and you can just plug your food in there, and it'll give you all the breakdown of the protein, fats, and carbs, and the calories for each food, and all your micronutrients as well. You just plug it all in. I know most people don't use it, but I use it because it's just real easy when you have it all broken down like that. If you want to manipulate something, just to tweak it.
Yes. I need to start tracking. I used to do it when I first got into the sport. I used to write down everything, but ever since I started working with coaches, it kind of just made me lazy in that regard. I know like what carbs I'm taking in and what fats, and I know what works. And for the past 3 years, my diet's only went up in protein, but the fats and carbs stayed the same. So it's very simplistic. I know how Dave operates. So I don't need to really communicate with him a lot, but I do need to break it down just so I know. I got all my notes from every year, and it's been very minuscule changes. Nothing's changed much, which is absurd because I've grown off doing the same thing year after year, but my protein's higher. That's the only difference. So, yeah.
Yeah, and do you think the higher protein helps you put on more muscle?
Yes, because 2022, I was eating 6 ounces of protein. This year, we had 8 ounces, and more fats this year, too. So, yeah, that's been the difference. It's been very subtle, though. It's not a lot, but it made a world of difference. Like, I'm 15 pounds heavier this year. But I had a crazy
And that was both
rebound
off-season and pre-contest.
Yes. Yes.
I found, when I first started, the coach that I had, he was like very high carb and moderate protein and almost no fats. And I realized when I started eating more protein and fats, I grew better.
Yes.
But that's just
Larry,
the way they thought.
Larry, because my first couple of diets was like that. Did you feel worse like that? Because I felt like when I just did like proteins and carbs and veggies for my first couple of years of dieting, it was super hard. Like I would get 8 weeks out and I would feel like trash for the last 8 weeks. And it's not like that now. With these fats and stuff, it kind of stabilizes my mind. And it makes me feel a little bit better. Even like my keto days, I feel a lot better versus the days I have carbs. Maybe that's just my body, but I have to have my fats to a certain degree. I don't have to.
Well, the fats give you a different source of energy.
Yes.
The fats give you a different source of energy that's more sustained, even energy versus the carbs give you a spike of energy, but then your insulin goes up and then your blood sugar goes down, and then you're on that roller coaster right there. With the carbs, it's kind of like even energy throughout the day once you get used to it.
Yeah, I prefer that, especially when you have to work.
Fats definitely make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can use fats for energy. And I think it's good on dieting because it gets your body used to burning fat for energy so that you burn body fat for energy as well.
Yes. Like the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks when I was working with Dave, we kind of almost went like zero carb. And I actually didn't feel that bad. It's just like my fats are there. And we did 70 to 90 minutes of cardio every day. And it was just like, okay, this is nothing, versus years past when I had worked with different coaches and I just had zero carbs, or it was just, we had low carbs. I felt like death every day. And it was like getting off the couch was a chore. And I was still able to function without having drastic mood swings. And, it was just different.
Well, I mean, your main sources of energy are carbs and then fats. And then the next thing is protein that's going to be converted to carbs, which is muscle if you're not eating enough protein. So if you have fats in there, you're going to have a more sustained energy level throughout the day. The other thing is when you take growth hormone, it raises your blood sugar. And then if you're taking a bunch of carbs with it, it's going to raise your blood sugar even more.
Okay.
So if you actually can become pre-diabetic from taking GH, or you could become a diabetic because it'll raise your blood sugar. And if you eat too many carbs with it, your blood sugar is going to get too high. But if you take fats and proteins, that's not going to be an issue.
Yes.
So it'll raise your blood sugar anyways, but not into a level that's dangerous.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know if you check your A1C, but
it's good. It's perfect.
I noticed from the GH, my A1C started going up.
Oh, okay. Goodness. Yeah, like, what's the word? Become insulin resistant. Wait. I forgot.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You become insulin resistant. No, yeah, you become insulin resistant when your A1C gets high, and then it's harder to process your food.
Yes.
And that can happen just from running high blood sugars. So keeping your carbs under control is a good idea.
Yes. I had a coach about 5 years ago. Like, it was primarily really drastic carbs. And when I got my blood work done at the end of the year, my kidneys, my blood pressure, everything was through the roof. And I started working with Dave shortly afterwards, and Dave just took everything out and just changed everything. And he told me, I'm saving your life, And now when I get my labs done, this is the healthiest I've ever been, because I don't have high carbs. It's good, healthy fats, and everything's very moderate with Dave. He's not an extremist. Just like, the night before, I'm asking him about, diet, diuretics and whatnot. He's like, I don't think you really need it, You're in shape. It's too risky, That's how Dave is. He's very, very, he's not crazy with his protocols, So yeah,
I'm the same way. Well, I don't, I might use a little Diazide the night before the show, but I don't really see. I mean, you can get your water out by just drinking a lot of water and then cutting it.
Yes.
So I don't see a reason why you would need to take a whole lot of diuretics.
It's some people that use it for like 2 weeks out, and I'm like, wow. If you're not in shape, taking a water pill ain't gonna make a difference.
You know what? There's these protocols that people had back in the day where, using a bunch of aldactone and stuff. And I really, what this is people that are not in condition, and they think that they're going to like pull a magic trick and pull all this water out and somehow look different. But the truth of the matter is, if you got fat on you, if you still got fat on you and you pull water out, you're just going to look smaller and fat.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
I just don't believe it's going to make that much of a difference if you still got body fat to lose.
I agree. And
I had a guy that we pulled 15 pounds off of him in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, mostly water.
Yes.
But we didn't use diuretics to do it. I had him drinking like 2.5 gallons of water a day. And that made he kept flushing water, and then when we cut the water, it just came off.
Yes.
And but he still wasn't there because he still had body fat on him. Still had body fat. He looked better, but he did not look as contest ready. Just wasn't ready.
Yes.
Mainly because he didn't stick to his diet all the way through the prep, and then we're trying to pull a miracle at the last minute, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Dave gave me that scare this last week of prep, because he's never taken food away from me, and he took 2 grams of protein from me, and I was panicking. I'm like, am I not in shape? So I'm like, calling my lady, and I called Dave, and Dave was like, look, listen to me. I'm not trying to bring you in the show at 85%. We're trying to win this damn thing. So just stop looking at yourself in the mirror and let me do my job. Basically, that's what he told me. I'm like, all right. He's like, I'm taking your food away, so I just want to get you a little tighter before the show day. And I'm like, all right, let me stop stressing out, because everything kept going up day by day by day. And I was like, am I not in shape? Because all prep, everything was very moderate. To like some days he didn't even give me cardio. We were eating up on Thursday and Saturday, and I was having like burgers and fries like twice a week, and I'm like, this is easy. Then all of a sudden he's like, all right, time to drop the hammer, and I'm like, am I fat? And I was like, because I'm so much heavier this year. I was comparing myself to last year. I was like, I'm 223 last year. I'm like 240 now. Like, I don't want to get beat by somebody because they're more conditioned than me. So I'm panicking, and I'm like, should I do the show? I'm thinking about everything like that. And then I won. So I was like, okay. And then he reassured me that you're in shape. And then Kenny did the same thing, Sorry for getting a little off.
Well, sometimes it takes, you get to a certain level of body fat and then it just doesn't move because your body doesn't want to lose that last little bit. And that's when you got to starve. That's when you got to go straight keto.
That's what happened.
You got to like force that last little bit off because it just doesn't want to, your body doesn't want to let it go.
That's exactly what
it happens to a lot of people.
He told me I had a little bit left.
I mean, you could be on a clean, you could be on a clean diet and losing weight steadily up to a certain point, and then all of a sudden your body's like, nope, I don't want to lose anymore. Yes. And then you gotta force it.
Yes.
So that's what he did, and that's why you have a coach.
Yes, I stayed at 240. I kid you not, for like the last 4 weeks. It wasn't until I got to Nevada, Vegas, that I finally got down to 235. But I had to suffer. I was getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would go straight to the gym. I would train with the weights, still like I was in the off season, and then I would do my 70 minutes cardio media afterwards. Then I would go home and eat my meal too, and I would do that every day leading up to the show. I did additional leg day after I said I was going to not train legs anymore. I did everything multiple times leading up to that show. And when our last day was Wednesday, and Dave was like, all right, you can rest. After I trained on Wednesday. So it felt good to finally just take the gas off. And I was like, yes, I can relax. My legs were sore all the way till Friday. And it finally was able to relax, from all that cardio and all that training.
Yeah. Well, you need to let it recover for that last few days.
Yes.
So we started off air. We started talking about a little bit of a taboo subject, but you had some interesting thing happen with PEDs that I think a lot of people will be interested in hearing about.
Yes. At the first of this year, I got everything, got all my stuff for the show prep, and Dave was very adamant about testing your stuff. So I tested my clean, I tested like all my orals and everything, and most of it came back as D-ball, unfortunately. So and then come to find out, for the past 2 years, I've been using D-ball for most of the duration of my prep, and I haven't even been using like clenbuterol or anything. So I've been having like a water problem on the stage. So this year, changed up some suppliers and ordered different stuff, and it made a world of difference. I was just tighter, and I didn't have to kill myself to get in shape. Last year I was doing over 90 minutes of cardio every day, trying to get ready for these shows. So, you're going to spend the money anyway. So you need to test your stuff. It's asinine not to test your stuff. I know I did it for 2 years thinking that the source I was getting it from is reliable, but you just think just because you're getting results and you're strong that you assume that your stuff is real, but you never know what it is. There's a lot of fake stuff out there. So test your gear,
So your clenbuterol was D-ball?
Not my clenbuterol. My Winstrol was D-ball. My clenbuterol, I don't know what the hell it was, but it wasn't clenbuterol. So I tested it, and it came back as nothing. The color, it just came back as invalid, basically, that it wasn't clenbuterol. And makes no sense to me because making clenbuterol shouldn't be that expensive. It's not like Primobolan or something like that. But it's a lot of fake stuff out there.
Let me tell you a few things that some people might know and some people don't know. Number one, clenbuterol is made in micrograms, and even when I ran a lab back in 2007, it was one of the biggest ones in the world at the time. I never tried to make clenbuterol because to dose that properly, I just didn't feel like I had the technology to. I had the scales and everything to do milligrams, but to do micrograms, I did not feel comfortable that I could safely dose that accurately and not kill someone. So I never even tried to make it. But the raws from China are now very hard to get, and they become more expensive. So what you have is these sources, they can't get the raws, but they still want to be in business. And the other thing is, but that's more recently. Last year, and over the years, mainly the difference is a kilo of Dianabol will cost like $2,000-$3,000. A kilo of Winstrol will cost $10,000 plus.
Goodness.
So this is how these guys are making money. They're giving D-ball instead of Winstrol because it's, much cheaper. Although for a bodybuilder, that would like ruin a contest prep. Like I can't even imagine doing Dianabol in a contest prep. Me personally, I hate Dianabol because I do not like to be bloated, and it's the one thing that makes me feel watery and bloated because it converts to an E2 estrogen that's like stronger than any other estrogen, and it makes you bloated and hold water and even put on body fat. So that would be just totally the wrong thing to take for a contest prep.
Yeah.
It's like you're fighting uphill again. Yeah. So instead of it working for you, it's working against you. Which would, I would have a problem with that. So yeah. And you got to know your source. That's all I can say. Some people try to go with whatever's cheap, and sometimes if it's cheap, there's a reason it's cheap because there's nothing in it. When I ran my lab, I had my lab, it was in Mexico down in 2007. And I used to sell to the pharmacies in Mexico. And I had everything tested by a lab out of Utah. So I knew exactly what was dosed properly. I got my own stuff tested because I wanted to be sure it was dosed right and everything was right. Every batch I got tested. And I had a website, and I'd post on the website the lab reports. And one day, one of my distributors owned the Pharmacy Revolution in Mexico. And he said to me, well, this guy brought in these bottles last week, and there's half the price of yours. And I looked at him. I said, well, I guarantee there's probably nothing in it, but I'll send it to the lab to check. So we sent it to the lab. It came back as nothing but straight oil. There was nothing in it. So I went back and I showed him the lab test. I said, yeah, this is cheap because there's nothing in it. And it's just fake stuff. And he said to me, can't you make some fake stuff too? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But he didn't care. He just wanted to make money. He didn't care if it was fake, real.
I'm glad I got prescription for my testosterone, so I don't have to worry about that BS. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. But I know there's a lot of fake stuff out there on the market.
Yep. So that could just make a world of difference.
Yes, I learned my lesson.
Yeah, you got to get things tested. You got to know your source. Yes. Luckily for me, I've been working with the same people for 20 plus years. I know them. I know they don't screw around. Everything's tested. So there's nothing to worry about. But I've seen a lot of fake stuff. This is nothing new. It's been happening forever and a day because people will cut corners to make money. Yeah. When I had my lab, I used to overdosed all my oils by 10% on purpose.
Wow.
So everything was 10% overdosed. I did that for a reason because I knew everybody else was underdosing their stuff. They would underdose it to try to save a few pennies. And the stuff was so cheap as the raws, you're already making like a 1,000% profit as it is. So why do you got to underdose your stuff? So I made it overdose by 10%. So everybody loved my stuff because they could feel it. And everybody else's was not strong because it was underdosed. And I understood that because as a bodybuilder, when I take something, if I don't feel it right away, I'm like, something's wrong.
Yes.
And I've taken gear long enough that I know what I'm supposed to feel when I take something. And if I'm
Yes.
not feeling something and I'm not seeing a result, then I know something's not working.
Yes.
But a lot of the people that sell they're not bodybuilders. They're just, guys trying to make money, and they don't train or compete or anything. So they don't even know what it's supposed to feel like or does. So they're just, like I said, the pharmacist in Mexico, he never lifted a weight in his life. So he didn't even care if it was real or not. It's just gringos come down and buy the stuff, and he doesn't give a shit.
Yes. It's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, it really makes a huge difference. But that's just something people should know. Now, one thing I will say, I don't know what kind of growth hormone do you use?
You cut out a little bit. What was that? I'm sorry.
Your GH, do you use the generics or you use a name brand?
Generic. I don't know
the generics.
Off my head.
The generics from China are really good now. I've had them tested, and they're just as good as the name brand ones. So those things are legit.
Okay.
At least some of them, if you get the right ones. I know I've been using those blue top generics for the last few years, and I had them tested right alongside with gintropins, and they work just as good. So, but again, I know my source. They're coming straight from China. I know that it's good stuff.
Yes.
But that'll make a huge difference in your off season and your prep and everything else. As I'm sure you realize that once you switch from the fake stuff to real.
Yes.
So, what else should we need to talk? Let's see. We've covered nutrition, training, PDs. I don't know how much in depth you want to get into that.
We can go over that. We can skip that. That was good enough.
But one thing I want to mention that most of the guys I've talked to at the pro level and the top winners at the amateur level are not taking huge, massive amounts of gear. They're taking moderate amounts. Everybody's on pretty much between 1 gram and 2 grams of gear, even in the prep. Once upon a time we had Boston Lloyd pushing, thousands of grams of tren and this and that and the other.
That's absurd. That's
and I always tell people like that your body can only use so much gear.
Yeah, it's a sponge. The sponge can
only use so much.
It's like it's honestly it's not good. Like less is more. I realize that. Like I barely use anything. This is the least I've been using. This is the least I used this year versus when I was 21 years old. I used more then than I do now, which is absurd. And I get better results now because my nutrition and my training is that much better now, and I'm not much more disciplined and consistent. That's the difference for me. And I really don't like being on stuff like, even though I got a prescription for it, I love when I'm off because I'm going to be off for the next 10 to 12 weeks. So I'm great. I'm happy about that. After these shows, I get to detox and refresh, So yeah, I just feel like crap for, after these 4 weeks when everything dissipates out of my body, and then my body starts getting back to normal. And that's a lot of things a lot of guys don't do. They blast and cruise. I don't think that's the best way, honestly. I just think your body needs a break. You don't need to be on year round because if not, your body's kind of going to adapt to the dosages. But I know a lot of competitors are afraid to lose anything. They want to just stay on, even got guys staying on clenbuterol all year round, which I think is crazy, But everybody does it differently, so.
Well, that doesn't even make any sense because your body builds a tolerance to clenbuterol really fast.
Yep.
So if you're taking it all the time, it's not going to even do anything.
You got these guys that are neurotics.
Even when you take it, you got to keep increasing the dosage until a point where it doesn't even work anymore anyways.
Yes.
And that's just during a prep. taking it year round just doesn't even make sense because your body's going to build a tolerance to it. It's just not going to even do anything anyways. You're just wasting money.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think when I'm off, it's a TRT dose of testosterone. Well, I'm pretty much off now. I take 250 milligrams of testosterone and 200 milligrams of MPP. And the only reason for the MPP is not to grow. It's just, it really helps my joints.
Yeah.
So when I can still lift heavy and I don't like everything doesn't hurt in the gym.
Yes.
Just for the lubrication of my joints. That's the only reason I use it. Not to get more muscle at this point. But yeah, that's it. But I'm not trying to compete. But if I was going to compete, or even with, I tell people, like, after your cycle, just go on a TRT dose of testosterone. Now, some people could do a full, like, go off of everything. But I think at some point, if your body's not producing any testosterone at all, even with a PCT, then you're going to have to take a little bit of testosterone, even if it's 100, 200 milligrams a week.
Yes.
And eventually everybody's going to get to that point just because of age. You're probably young enough that you can go completely off and do a PCT and probably bounce back,
The last time I got my labs
weeks,
done, it was
at least.
My levels came back up, but they were still like 200. But the last time after, I came off, my levels were 76. So that's why I have that prescription. So it's not the best. Because I guess, when I was irresponsible.
Well, your body just gets used to.
Yes.
Your body just gets used to being on gear, and then it doesn't produce its own anymore after a while.
Yes.
So you at least need that minimum dose of testosterone just to be normal.
Yes.
Because it's not even healthy to be at at a 20 level of testosterone.
It doesn't feel good mentally, I'll tell you that. You can't even get out of bed.
It doesn't feel good mentally, but it's bad for your body to be at that low as a man.
Bad for your mental health, joints.
As you get
bones,
older,
everything.
whether you've been on or not, regular TRT should be like almost with everybody, whether they're, after they get to a certain age,
Yes.
Because at a certain point, your body's just not going to produce testosterone anymore. But like I said in that study, the 20 to 4-year-olds right now are producing the level of testosterone a 70-year-old was making in the 70s.
Crazy.
So they don't even have any testosterone in them.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, that's why you're seeing, kids are like, it's not the same anymore. It's just not the same. People are not in shape. They're not playing sports. They're not doing all the things that we did when we were young.
Yes.
So what's the plan going forward?
So I'm in my rebound phase. I'll grow after the show, come off everything, still train like, it's like almost like a pre-off season, but 10 weeks from now, I'll begin my off season. And my sights are set on the California Pro for next year. And I want to put at least 5 to 10 pounds of muscle tissue on before I step back on stage. And I know my last email from Dave yesterday was, we're going to win a pro show next year. That's his plan, So looks like we're going to set our sights and try to make it to the Olympia next year. I might sound arrogant or cocky, but I'm gonna work for it. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm uncertain, but we'll see. If Dave says it and he's been around, he's trained the likes of like Kevin Maroney and stuff. I know he's not blowing smoke on my ass, so we'll see.
You have the muscle. You have the muscle, and if you put on a little bit more muscle, you're going to be competitive. You have the muscle. It's just for you, it's just going to be getting completely shredded and holding on to the muscle that you got.
Yes.
You come in peeled, you're going to be hard to beat.
Thank you, Larry.
And if you add another 5 or 10 pounds of muscle, that's going to be even more hard to beat.
Okay.
Because you got the shape, you have the thickness, it's all there. It's just about getting totally peeled, and then Dave's right. You're right there where you need to be. Just bring that conditioning, and I can see you winning pro shows next year.
Thank you, Larry.
For sure.
That's the goal.
Well, you just pulled a great one at the USA's, and I'm going to be following you. And I know you're in good hands with Dave because he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
So it'll be exciting to see how you grow through the sport. But I expect you and Chris Massaro to be, banging in the top 5 in these pro shows next year.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen. Oh yeah.
No, I can see both of you guys are going to be right in there doing it because, like I said, you guys got the muscle, and just bring that conditioning and you're in.
Okay. I can do that.
Anything you want to promote? Any shout outs you want to give to any of your sponsors, people?
I give a shout out to Dave and Species Nutrition. He's launching over in India this week. He flies out today, so safe travels to my coach. And guys, check out Species Nutrition. And I've been using them for 3 years. Fiberlize, as you know, is like one of the greatest products ever. Can't go without. And if you guys order from the website, use Knox 25 for additional 25% off. And that's pretty much it. And if you guys ever come out to Oahu, check out Iron Hawaiian. And we got another gym, GY Fitness, some cool gyms. Come check them out. And that's pretty much it.
I might go to the Sean Ray Classic later.
Oh, really?
And if I do, I'll have to come train with you.
Oh, definitely. Come check out the gyms.
Yeah.
Come check out Iron Hawaiian. It's right down the street from me. It's a old school. It's probably similar to your gym. It's badass. We got some cool equipment there. And then the other gym is GY Fitness. It's pretty badass too. That's what another gym I go to is on the other side of the island. It's just a little farther for me. So yeah, those are the gyms I trained at.
I trained in that World Gym years ago in Hawaii, and they have the good heavy stuff.
It's not there anymore.
All the big Avanco dumbbells and everything.
Okay.
No,
not here anymore.
but I'm sure I imagine that the equipment's going to be good out there because you got some serious guys.
Yes.
But yeah, I should be there. I think it's in November, so I'll be hitting you up.
Yeah, my cell phone. Call or text me anytime.
All right, awesome talking to you. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe so we continue bringing content like this. And where can people reach you if they want to contact you for training or whatever?
You can direct message me on the Instagram, or you can email me at ChristopherKnox25@yahoo.com. But Instagram is the best way to get.
All right, there we go. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll be following you. And I expect to see you here on Dave's podcast pretty soon.
Yeah, it'd be once he gets
get
back
you on after hours or something. I'm sure Dave.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That might be a little bit rated R for me, but I'll do it.
All right.
After hours
Cool.
is funny. All right. Thanks for having me, Larry.
I believe that the fires we're cast upon on the flames we shall become. I believe in a common calling.